What's happening, Hardscapers? Today we're doing a porch overlay. Let's get into this. A client called me up, said, Mike, I've got this ugly concrete porch. I want it to look nice. What can I do with it? I had just the perfect solution for him. Let me walk you through how I did this from start to finish. Beginning first with the layout. I do like to lay out all the different options first before we go ahead and start cutting, just to see visually how it's gonna look. But we will pressure wash this porch, get all this off so that we can actually adhere properly. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the caps, which are 2 inches, and then we will do a non-woven geotextile HPB, and then the interior will be 1 inch natural stone flagstone. So all I'm doing here is just setting out this project. So I'm just trying to see where the best place is to do our seams or our cuts, basically. And when I'm looking at this, I have got a halfway point between the two pillars, but it's not the halfway point on the door. Halfway point on the door would be here, halfway point on the pillars would be here. So I think it would look better to do it always against the pillars, because that's where the front walkway is going to be centered to. So it won't be centered to the door, but we will do our cut here. A cut right where that notch is. And then we will split this difference in half. When we are doing our cuts for this, so we're just splitting the difference in half. We have 4-foot caps, but none of these distances are 4 feet. So instead of going, this is a better example, instead of going 4 feet from here, which would then end about here, and having a little sliver, we'll split the difference in half. We will measure, divide by 2, because we know 2 pieces will fit in there, and then we have a nice middle point with our cap there. Did the same thing here, did the same thing over here. And this was barely anything. We could have easily gone 4 feet and then cut just a little piece off, but instead we split that difference in half. Whatever 4 inches, we took 2 inches off this cap and 2 inches off this cap, just so everything is nice and symmetrical in this. Additionally, when we are placing our cuts and planning our cuts, these pieces are only rock face on one side, so there is a left and right to them. If you're looking at the rock face, left, right. Now, they are perfectly saw and cut on one side, and then I cut them, which could be slightly imperfect. So you want that perfect side, if at all possible. In this case it works because there's only 2 pieces butting up to them. If there was a 3rd piece, I'd have to be very careful with my cut. But in this case, and I still am very careful with my cuts, but in this case we want the manufactured cut, which is perfect, to be meeting on both sides. So I cut this side and I cut that side, because this doesn't matter as much. It's going to be hidden. This is our seam, and if I'm off by just a little bit, that is going to show very much when these two meet. In this case, it doesn't show, and it's a perfect seam. Same thing over here, that's my cut, and on that side, that's my cut. But in the middle there is the manufactured cut. On this job, I am testing out a new adhesive. This is Techniseal's Sticky Stone. It's a sausage. You buy the sausage gun and you insert a tube of adhesive into it. You clip it, and actually it's very close to, I've used platinum in the past. I can't get it anymore. That platinum adhesive, if you've seen me use it. In this case, this is a vertical adhesive. And I'm still going to use it on our horizontal. Obviously, if it's strong enough to do vertical without pieces falling down, it's going to be strong enough to do horizontal. adhering these caps, we do want the water to shed off of them. Any water that's going to get underneath this hidden porch here, but or covered porch. I put my level on it and I want a little bit more adhesive on the back than I want on the front, and that gets us a nice little offset of the bubble. Any water that comes on here is just going to shed off. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to put 3/8 inch beads 3 inches apart, so that any water that does get in behind it is just going to go down, as opposed to doing it vertically, and then you get water staying there, it freezes, it pops the piece off. Apparently it cures in 10 minutes, so we're going to be testing that along here and see how it goes. When I'm cutting these risers, I'm cutting them out of 24 by 24s, because the 12 by 24s, if I was to rip them, they are not true 12 by 24s. So even though the 24 by 24, you think I could get 6, 12, 18, 24 inches, I could get 4 of those risers out of them. I can't, because those 24 by 24s are really 23 and 5/8. So I really, and especially with the saw blade, that's going to take 1/8 of an inch out of each one. So I can only really get 3. So instead of buying a 12 by 24, ripping it, and you only get 1 out of that, you can get 3 out of a 24 by 24. Quick rundown of the sticky stone so far. Definitely when you're starting out, you need something as usual to prop it up, to hold it in place. I've seen videos of them just sticking it, giving it a wiggle, and then letting go, and they say it's fine. Maybe these are just bigger pieces than the little pieces that I've seen in the promo videos of them sticking on, that it has more weight to it, so it is letting gravity do its thing and moving down. I don't know. This took me probably about 45 minutes to an hour. This one still has wiggle in it, and if I was to take that out, it would definitely fall. So box says 10 minutes. I don't know about that. Even the caps, which I did probably 2 hours ago or so, they also have some wiggle in them. Just minor, and I don't even think with my grabbo that I could suction it up, but just something that I have noticed with this so far. We do have these little pieces that will dress up the sides here. You could notch these pieces, make it look maybe a little bit nicer, but it does introduce a crack area that will eventually crack, I'm sure of it. So I just dress these up nicely on here. And now what we're gonna do on the inside is put our non-woven geotextile, HPB, and then our 1-inch natural stone. Here we go, we've aligned the interior with non-woven geotextile. Now we'll throw in our HPB, 1-inch screed layer. We'll get to screeding and laying here. Now when it comes to screeding, all I'm doing is offsetting that bubble a little bit, getting it at that nice little level there where the water's gonna pitch away and off those caps. And I'm just slowly dragging that back, following that bubble. Our porch is laid. Now, I messed up. I bought 12 by 12s when I really meant to buy 12 by 24s. So these are just placeholders right now. I need to go get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for those. Another thing that we're doing when we're cutting is we're picking through the natural stone. So this is the thing about natural stone, it's inconsistent. You're gonna get these highs and low points. So this one, you wouldn't want right where your step is. I'll show you that afterwards. But this one is a very good example where just the vein split right off. And I saw that when I inspected it and lifted it up, and I figured, you know what, I have a perfect application for this. I'll just use it as a cut as opposed to actually using it as a full piece. So I'm just picking through and picking the best pieces. Here's a good example. This is one where it has that very odd, it was a very small high point, and instead of using this as a full piece, I use it as a cut. That's the same thing here. So I'm going to take this one over here, and now I would never use this right where our step is, because this would be higher than this. This would be level with our cap, and then that introduces a tripping point when somebody's stepping down and stepping up. Instead, I will use the more flat ones through here, and the more aggressive textured ones, I'll use them closer to an area that's not necessarily going to be used as much. So just a thought process when it comes to cutting and picking through natural stone. And that is that. Polymeric sand is in. We swept it in, used a rubber mallet to hit things down. Every once in a while you need to adjust during that phase, especially any highs and lows. We've hit our highest point as far back as we can, where that could be a tripping hazard if it was up there. And our cuts, so we don't do symmetrical cuts unless it's a very small porch. If this was a smaller porch where it was cut off here, we would center our cuts, because you would see this. These cuts on this end are hidden, and we didn't take off much, maybe like 6-7 inches, but we just made sure that we don't have any small cuts, and we hide them against this wall because there'll be sitting area and this will be hidden. Same thing with our risers. That is a very small 5-inch cut, but it's going to be completely hidden in that corner there. We want our full pieces to be showing on our entrance, so we won't split the difference there to there like we do with our caps. Hey, I hope this video's helped you in some way. If it has, please give this video a like, comment below any questions that you may have, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more hardscaping content like this. Thank you so much for watching.